Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Group Chat, #1 podcast in the world. We have a kind of a grim episode because we're talking our new high mortgage rates. We're talking layoffs. I don't know the coach's name from Indianapolis.
Jim
Mora. But I would love to see a Monster or Indeed commercial at the Super Bowl with all of these intentional recession the Federal Reserve is causing that says, layoffs? Did you get layoffed?
Yeah.
And then come find a new job.
I think he's available. I think he lives in Palm Springs.
Does he?
Yeah.
That's nice. And so much more. We're talking about Kanye and Adidas. Seem to be in a bit of a riff. We're also talking air pollution. Some statistics are saying it's better to smoke cigarettes than go out for a run in a polluted community.
Run club's over.
Uh-oh. I wonder what air quality is in LA versus Hong Kong. The difference. I've never looked that up.
I'm sure that's available data.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
But the Hong Kong data won't be accurate.
Yeah, it probably is healthier than LA.
Yeah.
All right, we have that and so much more. Let's get into the episode.
Cash.
Ladies and gentlemen, Group Chat.
Cash.
It's $1 trillion. Hot.
All right, everyone. We are back with another episode of Group Chat. And let me tell you something. Not a lot of good news.
No.
Unless you are joining the Live Golf Tour, those are the only people that have good news. They're the only ones making a bag.
How much of the Live Tour did you talk about in the last episode?
A lot. I love it. I think it's the greatest thing to ever happen to golf. Everyone on TikTok's like, this guy knows nothing about sports or golf. But guess what I know? It doesn't fucking matter if you don't know anything about golf, but you get $125 million. Who gives a fuck?
I will say, so I think my fantasy football chat is a good kind of barometer because we have a few people that are diehard golf folks, and then the rest, we don't give a shit.
Yeah.
In terms of PJ, even though most of them play, but like no one's watching.
Yeah.
Right. And there hasn't been more discussion in the last week about golf post Live in our chat. And I'm like going all in on Live, and it's pissing off the establishment. Yeah. And I mean, I think it's one of the best experiments in terms of like, can endless capital disrupt an individual sport? The answer is going to be yes. Like, sure, this iteration of Live, we didn't even know where to watch it. Yeah. Like, that was one problem.
What does Live stand for?
I don't know. Probably Google it.
Yeah.
But I think what they're doing, and I know everyone, the PGA, folks are going to say, oh, these aren't even the best players right now. And that's fine. That's what the MLS did 15 years ago.
And now it's a real league.
Yeah, the MLS is hot. Yeah. They just went and got like the aging European star, paid them. Remember Zoltan?
Yeah.
At LA Galaxy?
David Beckham.
And then obviously now, like, there's rumors of Messi coming to Miami.
Yeah.
And
by the way, I don't know if you follow, I'll see some games on TV. Every stadium looks like they're pretty damn packed.
Yeah, the MLS is on absolute fire. It's the fastest growing sports league. Yeah. Like, by no question.
What is it? Apple's looking at the streaming rights for it.
Yeah, Apple acquired the rights.
They acquired the rights.
8x the last deal.
We don't know the number, right?
No, we do.
And it stands for 54, the Roman numeral for 54, the score if every hole on a par 72 course were birdied, and the number of holes to be played at Live events.
Wow. Okay.
So that's what Live is. And then, so per a sports business journal, it's worth at least $250 million annually and about 3x what they currently get.
Yeah, I mean, that's real money.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. And when you have more money, you can buy better talent. And what Live's doing, we just got the description. They also have a challenge to the players at Live. If you shoot a 54 or better, you get $54 million in a single course. So they're just throwing endless money.
I mean,
and you know what I love about it?
I'm going to have my kids start playing golf, and I'm going to only show them Live, and I'll say, you know what, kids? This is real sports. Nobody knows what PGA is. It's for losers.
Yes. And what's funny is because it's making the establishment so angry, and golf is an exclusionary sport.
Yeah.
Like, you can't even get good at golf unless you're like a freak like Tiger Woods that didn't come from like a rich family.
Yeah.
You have to have access to these courses. They don't want people to play.
Yeah.
You can't even get to any of the hot LA courses unless you
Dave Portnoy went, he's a Live supporter. I saw him do a emergency press conference.
It's smart.
And he was just like, who cares? Don't to bring in 9/11 and all that. He's like, it's about money.
Yeah.
It's always about money.
I mean, you can't, if you're going to, the same PGA people that are largely Republican, largely MAGA, were the ones screaming about the NBA in China, now all of a sudden give a shit about human rights issues in Saudi?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I don't think it matters. I think I do believe it will get disrupted. It already has. I don't care if they're not good. Those are blockbuster players.
Names, I know the names. I don't follow golf.
Yeah, I don't know the Shambo or whatever.
Bryson did. He's huge.
Okay,
he's a
well,
big social media like
I know
presence.
Phil Mickelson.
Bryson did one of those, the match type things.
Whatever.
He's big enough to do that.
Okay, so he's a big deal. All I'm saying is those people have fans.
Yeah.
And the
and
casual
Phil
golfer,
Mickelson is blockbuster.
Yeah.
Outside of Tiger Woods, it's Phil.
Yeah. So my point is that MLS is the greatest example of that, which was a league that was made fun of when it launched, and that it was just a place for has-been European players, is now a legitimate. Even the women's soccer league that's happening,
it's on fire.
That's going to work.
Yeah, it's on fire.
Mega. It's going to work mega.
And especially because the American women soccer players are the best in the world.
Yes. And like there's such a youth culture around soccer in America.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Like there's such a youth culture around so many of these sports, but they haven't evolved in the professional circuit because of old world rules. And I don't know. I like the effort. I'm down for the Super Bowl to be in Dubai or Jeddah, whatever. I don't care. I'll go.
Yeah, I mean the World Cup's in Qatar, so it's all happening.
It's all happening.
I mean, it happened. I mean, this is what like everyone needs to understand. Like, ultimately, it comes down to money.
Yeah.
I mean, Joe Biden, to no fault of his, because oil prices or gas prices are what they are at the pump, is going to Saudi Arabia next
Kiss
month.
the ring.
Yes, because he needs oil production from Saudi.
Yeah.
And, he ran on like, I'm not going to deal with this regime, but he has no choice.
Yeah.
Because Americans don't want to pay $7 for gas.
No, I don't. I definitely don't.
So ultimately, like,
money rules the world and it doesn't matter about anything else.
Yeah, it's easy to be really high and mighty when everything's at all-time highs. Everything's, you can then be morally like stand on ground.
Yeah.
But it's really tough when like we'll get into the economy later, but we're entering into like really grim times.
And I think the thing about when you think about like the opportunity that is at play here to disrupt a lot of industries, especially in a time where money is going to be a concern for a lot of people. Like think about sponsorship in sports. Think about all the dollars in sports. This is the time where an Apple, an Amazon, like I think one of our topics was Disney and Reliance are bidding $6.5 billion for the IPL rights, and which are the cricket league in India. And Amazon actually walked away. And I think we talked about it last week. Amazon walked away. Amazon's about frugality. They're not going to waste a fucking dollar right now. They know what's going on. But interesting to see, like, that's a big price ticket for basically an economy that hasn't been figured out how to monetize.
Yeah. So what's interesting, Disney's doing this for Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Right. Disney Plus is the future of Disney stock. If Disney Plus works, the stock's going to go up. If Disney Plus doesn't work, the stock's going to go down.
Yeah.
And in their subscriber count, I want to say it's like 250 million, what they call Disney Plus subscribers. 100 million are in India, basically paying next to nothing to watch cricket.
Yeah. Currently.
So they realize, like, if we're the only place to watch cricket. So last year, the IPL, the cricket league in India, had 600 million viewers.
Wow.
And here's some. So if this deal closes, it'll eclipse the rights for English Premier League and only trails the NFL.
Wow.
So right now, it is 11 million per match for English Premier League, and it's only 15 million for the Cricket League, and the only league that's higher is 17 million per game for NFL.
That's insane.
And so Disney Plus knows, like, we know when we kind of gave it away for free, the demand was insane. They added 100 million subs from one country. So if you get, for people that have never been to India or not Indian, cricket is religion.
Yeah.
So like the top cricketer, Sachin Tendulkar, who's like the Hall of Fame legend, there's like temples based after him.
Yeah.
That's how obsessed.
Yeah. Samosas and cricket.
Yes. And cricket is the one thing, like, I was in India once in Bombay, which is more traffic than the 405 rush hour times 1,000.
Yeah.
Right?
Basically the worst in the world.
Yeah, you can't move, right? Yeah. When India was playing Pakistan in a match, we zipped through the city in like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Because everyone was glued to the TV or their phone to watch the match. So that's how important cricket is to the country. Disney's betting on they're going to get these people to pay, which I question.
The thing about what I've learned what happened in China with the middle class and them actually having power and consumption has not happened in India.
No, because Indian youth, even now the like 40-year-old, they're just tech savvy. You can find pirated streams of all this stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Like, are they going to pay the whatever they're going to charge $3.99 a month?
Yeah.
I don't know. They haven't paid for anything.
Yeah. Indians don't pay for it. They're cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're tech savvy enough to figure out how to not pay.
Yeah.
So they're still watching their cricket.
Yeah.
They're just not going to be paying.
That's why I think it's a bad deal. I think Amazon knew that and was like,
well, Amazon knows it because they can't make
sell
a profit in India.
Yeah.
Everything's negative margin.
Yeah. And Flipkart, by the way, not a good business.
No. So Amazon walking away. Disney, sure, they probably run some movies there, but they don't really have like geographic expertise there.
It's one of those things where India appears to be like this golden opportunity to unlock. It's
been the promise for 15 years.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure.
But I don't think there is the opportunity. I honestly don't. Think about how the level of entrepreneurship that's in India, it's like best in the world. And none of those people have cracked the code because the consumer there just will not spend money.
No. I mean, Uber couldn't work.
Nothing works.
Amazon didn't work.
Yeah.
It's pretty good companies.
Yeah.
Couldn't figure it out.
Yeah. A lot of people, nothing works there. I'm telling you. It's too hard. It's a cultural thing about spending money that doesn't exist there.
Yeah. I mean,
you don't pay for convenience. You're happy with inconvenience.
Yes. You'll go an extra hour.
I got to go see my cousin. It's going to take me 4.5 hours to go across the street. That's fine.
Yeah. It's like you said, it's ingrained in the culture. They're the Amazon of cultures. They don't spend money.
Yeah.
Doesn't even matter.
Frugality.
Yeah.
It's part of the culture.
No, it is.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been there a million times, but like, you ask your cousin, like, would you use something if it was like 15 minutes faster, if it was cheaper, or if it was more expensive? They would say no.
No. Yeah.
Wait the 15 minutes.
Yeah. They don't value time.
No.
It's fascinating. All right, we're going to take a quick break and go get hydrated with our friends over at Liquid IV. It's all about hydration. Summer is upon us. You go out, we hit like 3 kids' birthdays the other day. I was sweating holding my kids.
It was hot.
It was real hot. Went back to my car, popped in a little guava from Liquid IV.
I did watermelon.
And you get all your essential electrolytes, minerals, and you're immediately hydrated. I love it. 1 stick of Liquid IV in 16 ounces of water hydrates faster and more efficiently than water alone. And you know what? They're doing great things over at Liquid IV. They've donated over 19 million servings globally. They're not only hydrating you, you are also hydrating others with your purchase. So head over to liquidiv.com. Use the code GroupChat and get 25% off. That's 25% off at liquidiv.com. Use the code GroupChat. Or if you want to load up for enough Liquid IV for the next 2 years, head over to Costco. You know, they always got good deals. You can get 25% off Liquid IV at Costco, I'm sure. Load up, check them out. We love the product. We love the people over there. Back to the episode. All right, well, let's get into some financial news. I think the big news of the day, well, there's a lot of things happening. I got an alert last night that the Federal Reserve, is considering a 75 basis point hike tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
That's 0.75 percentage points on interest rates. That was not on the table a few weeks ago.
Right.
Obviously, the data is showing that inflation is on fire. So they are now potentially accelerating it, which obviously, like Friday, the market crashed. Monday got worse.
Yep.
Today, I think it went down again.
It's a little flat-ish. No, actually, Dow was down 200. NASDAQ was flat-ish.
And now we have this meeting happening tomorrow. God knows what's going to happen. They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, so the Fed, everyone had priced in a 50 basis point hike. Then the hot inflation report came in last week. So now it leaked to the Wall Street Journal that it's 75 basis points. And I could tell you from the ironic thing is, if the Fed announces a lower than 75 basis points hike, the market will tank. The market has basically said, let's get this over with, rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah.
So if you look at most savvy investors, they're saying it should be 100 basis points. Why are you going to punish us for only 75 when you know it's not going to get the job done?
Yeah.
Then another 75 in a month, which is what's now priced in. So if you know you're raising 150 basis points over 2 months, do 100 now and 50 later and just rip the Band-Aid off. Because what basically, based on the last couple inflation reports, is that the Fed has, and the economy is basically like, we need a recession. So the recession is intentional to bring prices down. Basically, like, we need to cut off demand. We don't want you to go out to eat restaurants.
I won't.
You don't want you to fly.
I won't.
We don't want you to buy a used car.
Nope.
We don't want you to buy groceries.
Nope.
Like, they want canned food and fucking like eggs.
I'm going to heat up a frozen pizza tonight and we're going to set our ass at home.
And like, I'm not even saying this flippantly. That is what the Fed's goal is.
That is what I am doing. The Fed has, I talked about it. I went to dinner on Saturday with the kids and I was like, woo! Inflation.
You're like, Dom, we're going to save half that burrito for tomorrow.
Yeah. Wait, we're taking everything here. Give me the utensils too.
So what the Fed is basically saying is, we need to get into recession. We need higher unemployment. So we
want you to wait in line for bread.
They think, and they're right, it's the only way prices come down if demand falls off.
Yeah.
So think about how many, like, most people don't understand this. What is actually being intentionally done?
They're sitting in a room saying, we need to fuck America.
Yes, to bring prices down.
Yeah.
And
thank you.
And I don't think, like, obviously we follow the markets really closely. Like, every news alert, we're clicking the button. But like, how many people are really doing that?
I think now a lot.
You think so?
Now they are.
I mean, I have a story. One of my best friends is like, sister-in-law and husband are doctors, so they're very smart people. They're moving to LA and they're looking for a house, and they asked my friend, like, whoa, what happened to rates? Why are they so much higher than when we bought a house in Indianapolis 3 years ago? So I don't know if everyone's actually paying attention.
Wow.
So it was like sticker shock.
Yeah.
Because people aren't just paying attention to like the news and finance the way we are. And I don't think people realize what the Fed wants. The Fed wants layoffs. The Fed wants companies to tighten the belt, stop spending. They want the consumer to stop spending. So how does it trickle down to the average person? The average person's going to get fucked.
Yeah.
And that's the shitty part about this, is like, the average person has no idea what's coming because the recession is intentional. We're already in a recession. We know we're going to get the 2 contracting quarters, but it's going to be way worse.
Yeah.
Because the Fed has decided inflation's the only thing that matters. And until the Fed...
Well, we knew that fucking a year ago.
Yeah,
I don't understand why they didn't know that.
They should have been cutting rates last summer.
Yeah. I mean, even stuff
raising
like,
rates, sorry.
even, they're finally looking at pulling back some of the tariffs. You should have done that fucking last year.
Yeah.
You would have solved some
That was the
inflationary.
administration, right?
What?
The administration's now easing tariffs.
Yes.
Or wants to.
They want
So
to.
different than the Fed. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, you communicate,
Or just like learn.
think.
Yeah.
And you should have been in Saudi Arabia in December.
Right. Your January at least?
Yeah.
When the war started.
Yeah. Immediately being like, you know what? We're going to get ahead of this. We know this could be potentially a drawn out situation. Let's go to Saudi. Let's go kiss the ring and let's get the oil pumping back into America.
Exactly. And
it's like, I don't see a world where gas goes down anytime soon.
Yeah. When like economists are like, yeah, we need 6 to 7% unemployment. Guess what? That means people are getting fired.
Yeah.
Laid off. And you're going to see mass layoffs across all industries. Right now, tech's getting its medicine. And, Coinbase fired 18% of their workforce.
1,100 people, which is insane.
I was trying to doing the back of the envelope math on that. And so 1,100 people, salary plus stock-based compensation, which is a line item in your P&L, average, I would say 200K.
It's a little less.
I think
if you're not an engineer, you're not getting that bench.
But your minimum is 75K.
Sure.
I don't think anyone's making less than 75K at Coinbase.
Sure. So I'd say 150.
Okay, 150. Back of the envelope, Matt, that's like 175 million annually in cost savings.
Yeah.
And
I think it cost them $40 million to do it.
Right, because they have to pay out all this shit.
Benefits, this, that.
So, I mean, this is just the canary in the coal mine and in terms of every industry. So first you're going to see Coinbase was the first to do it at real scale. You've seen companies do 5 to 10%.
BlockFi, I think, did 20%.
Yeah, Redfin and Compass both did 10%.
Yeah, which is just the obligatory 10% when they should have probably done 25.
Yeah, and the reality is like Coinbase probably should do another 20%.
Yeah.
And they will. They're just waiting for air cover. Right
Yeah.
Right now, crypto winter, all this shit.
It's
like,
an easy,
you don't get really blamed. Like, of course you're going to blame. Then when Fortune 100 companies start laying off, they'll lay off the next 20%.
Yeah.
This happened in 2008. So like if you worked in finance in 2008 during the financial crisis, there was probably 3 rounds of like serious layoffs. And it was a third. And then they were like, okay, we're done. It just happened over 18 months.
Yeah.
And the thing about the recession right now is that it's hit the tech economy really hard.
Yeah.
It has not hit the rest of the economy at all. So in the next 60 days, you're going to start seeing Disney laying off 10%, General Motors laying off 10%. And you're going to start seeing this from like your traditional economy businesses.
Yeah.
And I mean, the writing's on the wall, and I don't know if people understand that.
Yeah. I mean, I think some, yeah, I mean, look, what you'll see now is you saw the first, it affected technology because their stocks got slaughtered.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a reflection of what people think of their business is going to be like in the next 12, 24 months. So you have to react to that and you make that harsh decision. You lay off people, you cut costs. And in most cases, these businesses have stopped growing, right? They're shrinking. So it's valid. It makes sense. There'll be a lag.
And not profitable.
Yeah. There'll be a lag with all these larger companies that will just take time to impact. But I know because like I'm dealing with all kinds of companies in daily with the businesses I work with. And it is across the board. I don't give a fuck what you do. You're in a hiring freeze, you're cutting costs, or you're laying people off. Every single company I talk to. And I'm talking from the biggest to the smallest, even companies that are doing great. Like, you know what? We're not spending any money anymore.
Yeah, I mean, this is tech specific, but I was talking to a tech investor that deploys a lot of capital, and he was saying like companies shouldn't be laying off 18%. It should be like 50%.
Yeah.
Because like there's no sign of when things are going to turn from a business perspective. And I don't know, I think the work from home experiment is going to be pretty much shut really soon.
Yeah.
And like, if you're at a job and not taking it seriously, you should start taking it seriously.
Yeah.
because I think it's going to be broad-based across all industries. And then you got to realize, like, companies don't, for the most part, care about their employees. I mean, I'm saying that kind of harshly, but they don't. They care about their bottom line and their fiduciary duty to shareholders. So if you have air cover, because
that's what, and that air cover happened during the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, I can just lay off a third of my staff or not pay anyone for 5 months and call it furlough.
Yeah.
Why not do that?
Exactly. So like when it's going to get scary if Google, Apple, Facebook, who are sitting on mountains and mountains of cash, just like, cool, I'll lay off 8% of my staff.
Yeah, because they have no reason to.
No, from a financial standpoint, but like trimming the fat.
Yeah. The other interesting thing is like what I'm more curious to see, because we talk about it a lot. Coinbase isn't obviously crypto. A lot of the crypto folks are laying off people. Crypto prices are now, back to like where they were probably
18 months ago, probably.
Yeah.
Something
like
that.
right kind of like summer 2020 when it started picking back
summer
up.
2020 is probably right.
Something.
Yeah, Ethereum was much lower, but sure.
Okay. So maybe a little later, whatever, less than 18 months ago. A lot of money was raised in this space with, like, privately, OpenSea is worth as much as Coinbase is publicly. Obviously, OpenSea's volume has to have plummeted. I mean, it's pretty obvious, and you could see the marquee projects are not even, like, a Bored Ape was several $100,000 60 days ago is now less than $100,000.
Yeah, it's probably like 90, 86 is the floor today.
Yeah,
ETH, and ETH's like 1,200.
Yeah, so
a little higher, 100. Yeah,
one, like, obviously crypto is going to be disproportionately punished.
Yeah,
and it's disproportionately rewarded and it's disproportionately punished. So, where is, like, everyone calling the floor on the S&P 500 is like 3,200. Is like, I saw one guy say 3,000, which
that's just to get on the news.
Yeah, well, he got on the news. 3,200 is the floor that I keep reading, and I think
3,700 is what I said last time.
So you said 37, which we're right there. So it has to hold. Wednesday could be a disaster, and it could be.
My prediction near term tomorrow is Fed raises 75 basis points, market rallies tomorrow.
Because it's like, all right.
Okay, at least hopefully we'll
right
get
direction.
better inflation numbers next month.
Yeah.
And here's the shitty part is that it's happened post 2008. The stock market and the real world are completely disassociated. The stock market's way ahead of the economy. So if you look at the stock market, if you just look at the stock market and you don't look at anything else about how companies are doing, you'd be like, oh my God, people must be like hurting.
Yeah.
People aren't hurting the way the stock market would reflect.
No, yeah, I think, and you're seeing that in like regular economy is still humming.
Yeah. So my point is when the real economy starts getting hit and we have clarity from the Fed, the stock market's going to rip and then average people are going to get fired.
That's happened in 08. 09, the market started ripping.
Yes. And dude, 08 to 16, average people had zero wage growth. It's the reason why Donald Trump got elected.
Yeah.
It's
the market was ripping.
The market was absolutely ripping.
Yeah.
And people got so freaking rich. And I'm telling you, once the stock market has clarity on the Fed and clarity on the inflation, it does not matter. Tech stocks are going to rip.
Yeah.
They're going to fly. And then that's when the real economy is going to start having recession. When you start seeing Hilton saying right now they have the highest level of demand in the history of the business.
Wow, that's crazy.
How long has Hilton been around?
Yeah, well, a long time.
A long time. And all that is like, I think, pent up demand from people that already booked this shit.
Yeah.
Like
and record wealth they had last year.
Yeah, record refinancings. And they all booked it for the summer. They're like, let's let it ride. This summer is the one last hurrah.
Yeah.
In the next 12 months.
It was the only hurrah that most people had. And now it's going to come crashing down.
Yeah, because the fall, it's going to fall off a cliff.
Yeah.
And I mean, with mortgage rates at 6.3%, you could have got a mortgage in the height of the pandemic at 2.25%.
Yeah. So 6.3% is now the 30-year mortgage
Mm-hmm.
pre a 75 basis.
So
Are they assuming that?
I didn't know this. That a real estate friend explained it to me that the 30-year mortgage is basically a curve that prices in market expectations. So the 30-year mortgage right now is pricing in the 75 this month, 75 next month, 50 so they're pricing in all the rate hikes. So if it becomes 100 basis points instead of 75, then the mortgage rates will go up even more. But like, I mean, a group chat listener who was in the office today was explaining to me how he's looking for a place, and with mortgage rates what they were 6 months ago, he could afford like a $1.3 million place. Now with mortgage rates where they are today, he's sub $1 million.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's a huge drop.
Is real estate going to go down ever? This has to be.
Yeah, we talked about in the last episode. Luxury real estate has been hit.
Yeah,
like it's already like the home sales have slowed down. There's a house listed on my street that it was bought 2 years ago for $2 million. Like in beginning of pandemic, like, so I think probably a fire sale. And they kind of redid the inside. They redid the inside. It's really nice. They did not redo the outside. They just painted it. It's listed for $4 million.
Okay. And has it any buyers?
I mean, it was a week ago, but I mean,
a week is in this environment is a long time.
Yeah.
Because normally you price.
I think it's overpriced for what it is.
But if you just think
no
about
pool,
that,
no nothing for $4 million.
Yeah, that's insane. And if you think about the example I just gave you, like, if that's how people are pricing homes as a family, like, I just have to take a 35% haircut on, or whatever, sorry, sub 30% haircut on my place that I can afford. You got to imagine it trickles down, right?
So the one thing, so I think it does, but I think the rental market's just going to go nuts because everyone who wanted to buy a home can't.
Yes.
So you're going to go rent, and instead of your rent could go up, you end up spending the money anyways because you need a place to live. Yeah.
So apartment rents in LA you can keep rising, and there's no friction.
Interesting.
I mean, once you have companies laying off 20% of their workforce, that could change, but who knows? But I don't know. It's the difference between now and March of 2020 is the Fed has no tools in the toolbox other than send us into a recession.
Yeah.
That's the tool they're using.
Yeah.
The reason why everything ripped in April 2020, or post that, is they had so many tools that no one even was like, they were unhinged.
Yeah.
The quantitative easing, backing all corporate debt, stimulus bills, you name it. It was just liquidity floating everywhere.
I had dinner with a guy in the private jet market last week, and he was telling us that like demand is still very high, but it's like traditional people. It's like business owners or businesses who have always flown private continue to fly. And then a lot of new people just made a lot of wealth. He's like, all the crypto, all the cannabis, all of those people gone.
Why cannabis?
I don't know.
Crypto was a big private jet.
Yeah.
That was part of the Lambo Flex, PJ.
I had said a year ago that once crypto and all the recession hit, you would see Pelotons for sale, Urises for sale. You're going to see everything for sale. Like if you have actual cash in the next 3-4 months, you can make a killing.
Yeah. And yeah, I think
a lot of people do have cash too.
No, the average consumer still has cash.
Yeah.
But they're not going to have cash if they get laid off and their mortgage payment. Because how many people had floating mortgage payments, right? That's like a popular thing to do.
Where the interest rate is.
Yeah, and the interest rate floating. Now your monthly cash burn just doubled.
Yeah.
So it's trickling down to every parts of the economy. And I don't know. I think it's going to get pretty grim. I'm not super bullish because I'm not super bullish on the real economy. Like I said, unfortunately, the stock market's is gonna be going up.
Yeah.
When everyone's hurting.
Yeah. Just buy some stocks. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. And I mean, gas prices is what's driving me nuts. I just think that's just unbearable.
Yeah, and I want to touch on the crypto stuff because, I mean, it's top of mind on everyone, right?
Going to zero, right?
No, absolutely not. I think
what is 100? If ETH goes to 100, that's bad.
Sure, is it? As
But
long
here's
as
the
it's
thing is
above
like-
$1.
What?
As long as it's above a cent.
Yeah, but so like, at the end of the day, why do people buy this stuff? You may be buying it because you believe the world should be. You could be an anarchist. I don't know what your deal is. But like
Certainly
at the
not
end of
an
the day,
anarchist.
what does everyone care about is making money.
Yeah, but
Okay, so like you could still sell crypto and put into a better performing asset
I
for the
don't
next
know.
18 months.
maybe. I don't know. Crypto's
Okay,
outpaced growth stocks.
Javier, put this into my calendar. Put the price of Ethereum, what it's at today. Put it 1 year from today. So what is today? What's today's date? June 14th? So put June 14th, 2022. Put the price of ETH is at 1,200. I just checked. Tell me the price of Apple stock, and let's see what's a better performing asset.
I will take that bet all day long. How much you want to put?
1 ETH.
More.
1 ETH at
No.
that price.
I need more. I need more juice because
Okay,
it's a
let's see.
guarantee.
Okay, let's see what's a better performing asset.
Oh, I would take that bet all day
Okay,
long.
let's see.
So
Put it in.
I mean, anyone who wants a counterpart to me on that bet, please
Okay.
DM me.
Okay, let's see. I'm curious to see what happens.
I want to put a Eurus on it.
I don't have a US. Maybe in 3 months if I find one for like 20 grand.
So I wanted to address the crypto thing because a lot of people that don't follow it don't understand what happened basically in the last 3 or 4 days. And it's easy to say, oh, crypto's over. It's going to zero. Here's what's happened. It's basically like this DeFi world, which is unregulated internationally for sure. In the US, there are regulations and lawsuits are going to come. There was no transparency of what these companies were doing.
Yep.
So like Celsius, for example, which is what caused the latest crash over the last 3 days. Luna was the crash, the flavor of the week 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And
Luna was way bigger, right?
Luna was way bigger.
Yeah.
Luna
But
was
it
way
just, I
bigger.
guess, not as many people were exposed or.
They could have been not as levered as
Yeah.
Celsius. So the reason why crypto crashed is all these companies that were DeFi protocols were massively over levered. So they basically put a shit ton of Bitcoin and Ethereum against as collateral, took Tether, and then built on whatever these like DeFi protocols to get these yields. The problem with DeFi is
It's a Ponzi.
a lot of it is, and there's no transparency of how are they really extracting this yield.
Yeah.
Like no one can actually explain to me why you can put your Ethereum or Bitcoin on the Celsius network and get
8% or whatever.
8%.
Yeah.
And why you're safe.
You can't. And it's not.
Exactly.
It's a
And
Ponzi.
that's what's proven. And this is
So how many more Celsius do we have?
tons of Celsius.
Yeah.
Not the drink. It really makes me mad because I love the drink.
Yeah, I saw
And I
the
hate the
meme with
network.
the Celsius drink and the Luna bar. What a
And-
bad combo.
And the problem is all these, it's like equivalent to, I think the best comparison is the mortgage crisis in 2008. Like everyone was just, the CDS market was like, multiples and multiples of what the actual mortgage market really was. And that's basically what's going on in DeFi. Like everyone, when prices kept going up, they just kept borrowing and borrowing and borrowing. You have no idea if your protocol that you're staking your stuff on
Yep.
is actually backed by anything real.
Yep.
Because there's no transparency, there's no regulation, there's none of it. Can this continue to happen? Of course, but people don't like losing money, so
Yeah.
people will get smarter. So it's going to bring more transparency. DeFi is real. Most of DeFi today is a Ponzi.
Yeah.
So these companies need to get flushed out. They need to mass sell their Bitcoin. Like I think last night, Celsius had to sell like 1,000 Bitcoin like in seconds to
Oh.
like meet their margin call.
Yeah.
And so all this stuff from a technology perspective works. Are there scammers and Ponzi's? Yes.
Yeah.
And the market will self-regulate because unless you have the transparency of what's going on and how you're actually getting your yield, what's it actually backed by, someone will come up with that and someone will actually win. And maybe it's a Coinbase, maybe it's a Gemini, maybe it's something that's US regulated where they're forced to like kind of open their books and show you why they're able to give yields the way banks are. And so this is basically a run on crypto because there's so much leverage in the space by protocols and founders that were in it for a get rich quick scheme.
Yeah.
And sure, it could go down another 50%. I don't know when it stops, but it works.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
DeFi proves that crypto works. It's just you had bad actors.
Yeah. And that's the problem. And that's the problem with decentralized anything.
Yeah, and that's okay because you need the bad actors to get flushed out. You need the actual customers to be like, okay, prove to me you're not a bad actor. And I don't know what that answer is today, but it will come because that's the only way it's going to work.
Yeah. Best of luck to you all.
And there's a rumor right now, 3 Arrows Capital, which is one of the bigger crypto hedge funds in the world, based in Singapore. 2 of their founders are super famous on crypto Twitter. Rumor going on, that fund is insolvent because they were tied up in Luna first, Celsius, and there's offloading a shit ton of coins because of margin calls. And in DeFi, you auto liquidate, right? It's not so like today, if you have leverage at Goldman Sachs, you have 3 days to come up with the money. And crypto land, it's automatic.
Yeah.
It's seconds.
Yeah.
There's no like time. And they're super famous on crypto Twitter. They went dark.
Wow.
The 2 founders of this fund. So they changed their bios. It's super shady.
All right. It's going to be an interesting couple days for crypto.
I think it's going to be an interesting couple months at the minimum.
All right. Well, if you're not into crypto, big news. Kanye West posted yesterday on Instagram calling out Adidas for making inline Adidas product that looks exactly like Yeezy. I was on the Adidas website the other day. I could not believe how many styles Adidas is blatantly ripping off of Yeezy. Adidas inline shit that's like $100, $120. Like all of his shoes, they're copying. They look exactly like it. What? Who at this company thought this was a good idea?
But how is it different than Shein knocking off like everything?
They are partners with him. That's his partner.
Yeah.
They are making so much money.
But knowing Kanye, like, do you think this conversation wasn't had and now he's just playing victim? Because it's not cool anymore if Adidas just hoards it up?
It's I don't care what the conversation was had. You are partnered with someone extremely influential that made your entire business relevant. Do you know the moment Kanye came to Adidas, Adidas had a run that impacted their company by multi-billions of dollars. They are partners with him on this shoe business that is absolutely on fire still. And why would you copy and hurt your own guy? It's so stupid.
I mean, he also has a Gap deal. He's a loose cannon.
But
Maybe
it's
they're
apparel.
Like,
That's apparel.
Let's capitalize while we can. And if he leaves, he leaves.
Yeah, I mean, he should leave. If he can get out of it, he doesn't need Adidas. What? This shoe doesn't even say Adidas on it. No one cares about Adidas.
Right.
Anyone could be his partner. Anyone who knows how to make that damn shoe can be his partner.
He should do a deal with that Chinese shoe company and see if he can make that famous in the US, just as an experiment.
100%. Whatever he wears. Like
I'm just saying,
Miles rolls around in rain boots all day. He just, for whatever reason, he wants to walk in rain boots. And I posted a picture of him wearing it. I was like, oh, Kanye, little Kanye. Whatever he does, the whole world just does it. So
you're saying Miles is influenced by Kanye?
Yes. I think he saw a picture and Miles was like, you know what? I like that rain boot look in the middle of summer.
All right.
I just think it's just unbelievably stupid by Adidas to go and copy their own. I have no problem interpreting to some extent, but these are just blatant copies. And I'm sure it's not an easy relationship working with him. There's no doubt in my mind, but it's just stupid. So he posted a clause that says he can work with other people too. So, I mean, if I was him, I would just launch another brand that competes with Adidas that's readily accessible and is cheap. Call it Donda and just fuck it. It competes with Adidas. Like, kids will wear anything he does anyways. What does it matter?
Yeah.
Wild. All right, moving on. The number one restaurant in America, voted, confirmed, is actually an Indian restaurant. I mean, if I'm an other minority in America, you got to hate us. We're just winning at every level. I mean, we already won the CEO race.
Yeah.
There's no chance for anyone else. We're basically going to take up the entire C-suite at every big company in the world. Now we're the top restaurant?
And the restaurants in North Carolina?
Yeah, Indian street food too.
Might need to go to North Carolina.
Yeah, so the details on this restaurant, let me pull them up here. Let's see here. Okay, so I was reading about it in Bloomberg. It's a street food concept. It is, sorry, my internet's a bit slow. It's called Chai Pani, affordable Indian street food. It's in Asheville, North Carolina, and it was named America's most outstanding restaurant at the James Beard Foundation Awards in Chicago Monday.
That's crazy.
Wild.
So James Beard is like foodies, right? There's like experts.
Yeah. Top restaurant. That's crazy. I mean, Indians in America are very hot.
Mm-hmm.
Very hot. You know what's an interesting thing that I saw Bobby Hundred's post?
What's that?
He posted something about Top Gun and saying there was no Asians in Top Gun.
Okay.
When we were growing up, did you ever watch a TV show and be like, oh, I wish there was someone that looked like me?
No.
I didn't need it. I didn't give a shit.
No.
Nor did it affect my being.
I mean, I watched the NBA. There's no one that looks anything like me.
So you want some inclusiveness and you want the
No, I'm saying
pity Indian to be in the
No, they
NBA.
shouldn't. I want meritocracy.
So what about in content? Like, do you feel, I never felt like watching, like, obviously there was Indian characters in Seinfeld, like the Babu who did the Pakistani restaurant, but like, I never felt like, oh man, because that was my show that growing up. I never felt like, man, I wish George was Indian. Like, who gives a shit?
I don't get that because there were black actors in Top Gun that were prominent. There was a female actress who was prominent in the movie.
But I'm just saying in general, like, I don't care. Like,
I think making those like quotas for like, just because it's a Tom Cruise movie and you know it's going to be the blockbuster, he has to go find every race.
Yeah, Netflix does that. You watch a Netflix show, they will find every little fucking nook and
Sure, if that works for them and they get more viewership, great.
Yeah.
Squid Games was the biggest show in Netflix history.
Where are the Indians in that show?
Yeah, I want Indians in Squid Games.
Yeah, why can't there be six?
No, there was. There was one.
They one Indian?
Yes.
He snuck in?
Yeah.
There you go, representation. Maybe I'll watch it now.
There you go.
Just kidding. I'll never watch that show.
It's a great show.
No chance I'm watching.
But no, I don't think...
like squids and I don't like games.
Okay. You're missing out.
Whatever. No one's going to be talking about that show in 2 years.
Or they're going to be talking about it a lot.
If the sequel comes out.
Or the reality show gets on fire.
Well, is that for sure confirmed?
Confirmed. Netflix is doing a reality show. I don't think they've ever done a reality show before.
No, those Love Island. Those are
Love,
whatever.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Never mind.
They've done.
So Netflix is doing a Squid Game reality show where they're going to go through a series of contests and the purse is $4.65 million, which is on pace with Live. So that's market now.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't even know what Squid Game is about, but isn't it about winning some crazy amount of money?
You die.
If you win?
You lose.
No, if you lose, you die.
Yes.
Well,
and there's only one winner.
I'm just saying it should be about money. Like $50 million game.
Yeah, 456 players, series of games, to one person wins 4.56 million. So it's similar to...
You know what the Saudis should do? Instead of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, Who Wants to Be a Billionaire? Imagine if it was a quiz contest where you get $1 billion.
And what's the consequence if you don't? The only reason Squid Games worked as a show because the consequence was so great.
So in this reality show Netflix is doing, they're killing people.
No, they're not going to be killing people.
So then why would anyone watch this?
It's just another game show.
Yeah, exactly. So bad idea.
With a high purse.
It sounds like a flop.
It's the same reason why Who Wants to Be a Millionaire worked. Like, it was just a quiz show. It's just because the purse was $1 million.
Yeah, but there wasn't a quiz show. I don't know. There was some charm to that
And
show.
Regis was great.
Regis was good. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire was a cultural phenomenon.
Yeah, we all like got around the TV if someone was getting to like 200K or whatever.
That's the problem with Netflix. You're going to show all 17 episodes in one shot. And everyone's like, all right, whatever. Let's just skip to the last episode and see who wins.
I mean, Netflix.
Reality shows don't work, I think, on Netflix. It's not like they got to figure out the way they deliver that information.
Yeah, I mean, I think Netflix is just grasping for straws.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we were talking about where Netflix is going to play in the content sphere. I was reading an article is that they're comfortable with taking the approach of like less is more, focus on higher quality, bigger blockbuster shows and movies.
Who is?
Netflix.
That's what their new strategy is?
Yeah, and not about quantity.
It's like what Apple TV does.
Yeah,
Apple TV, it's limited content, but they put a shit ton of money in each show.
Yeah, I just saw Tehran. Great show.
Great show.
Great.
I'm caught up.
Very good. But yeah, when Apple TV,
so that's a high quality show.
And it must have cost a fortune.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't imagine like all morning show. What is that like?
Oh, morning show's got it. I think it's
the most expensive show.
Yeah, the most expensive show. I mean, just to get Reese and Jennifer Aniston, I can't even imagine what they paid them.
Paid $50 million.
Maybe.
But yeah, I think like content's going to be interesting. It's going to be tough. And like when you go reality, that means you're competing with TikTok. Because TikTok is reality.
Yeah, the real problem with this show, the Netflix show, is why watch the 30 minutes or hour when you can get a 2-minute clip of the whole episode?
Yeah, on TikTok. Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting to see. All right, let's wrap it up with two last topics. I saw this headline on CNBC. Air pollution takes 2 years off your life more than smoking or alcohol. That's pretty interesting.
So, I mean, I guess COVID was beneficial to some people.
Yeah.
Because there was no air pollution.
So, the Air Quality Life Index finds that taken together, air pollution takes a collective 17 billion years of life.
It's a lot.
That's insane. So firsthand cigarette smoke reduces life expectancy by 1.9 years. So you're better off sitting in your home and having cigarettes than going outside for a run.
According to that logic. So the run club is just killing people.
Yeah, seriously. We should stop. I mean, it's insane.
Just get on a treadmill.
You need to be inside, no sunlight, treadmill.
Right.
I mean, air pollution in certain countries is just like, take India, for example, or mainland China.
Yeah, you probably can't even go to India or China without a mask because of your asthma.
I mean, I remember one time running outside in Guangzhou. It was horrendous. It was so bad. I was like, oh, I'm here. I'm up 4 a.m. What am I going to do? Go for a run. And it was like dense smog. But it's pretty scary to think that that's real. All right. Well, best of luck on that. Keep those masks on, N95s.
Yeah. Seriously.
I think it's interesting to see how many people still wear masks out and about.
There's a lot.
A lot of people wearing masks.
Especially outdoors.
Yeah.
I see a lot.
Like walking by yourself outdoors, mask. That must be an air pollution fear, because that cannot be a COVID fear, because you can't get COVID walking by yourself
I think
outside.
it's just mentally people are just broken
at
this point.
Maybe they have bad breath.
But they're by themselves.
Maybe they're concerned if they run into someone on the street.
But the bad breath would be
if
bad
you
for
have
yourself.
bad breath, I think
Like, a
you're
mask is
comfortable with the. I wonder if people started caring more about their breath with all this mask usage. You're like, damn, this is what people smell.
Yeah, because it only affects you, and everyone's
Yeah.
selfish anyways. Yeah. Before we end, I just got a text from one of my friends who bought something at Tom Ford, and from, you know how they have like the shoppers?
Yeah.
It's like, good afternoon, starting a VIP pre-sale at 50% off. Please let me know what day you'd like to schedule. Does Tom Ford ever sell things at 50% off?
Hell no.
And the comment was like, I guess it demands hitting the high end too.
Wow. Ask them if they're doing 50 off on those tuxedos.
You weren't eating or fucking buying ice cream. Now you want to buy a Tom Ford
you know what?
tuxedo.
The kids have to make sacrifices so daddy can get a Tom Ford tux. Those are hot. All right. Well, we're going to move on to our last topic, which is a friend, our friends of the pod, John, and the guys who are at Leisure Town who launched, an NFT business. They actually partnered with ClipperJet. And it's a team of aviation legends that are building an immaculate private jet for 4-week vacations. It's the first ever wide-body Boeing 777 with a private jet finish. Their bar is going to be the nicest bar in the world, but only available to 80 people at a time during their excursions. They travel to the best destinations in the world, staying in 5-star hotels throughout the trip. They're releasing, interesting, this is very rich, $155,555 Founders Pass NFTs. The NFTs come with 1 ticket to the excursion of their choice, but also comes with a ton of utility, which sure, the custom Louis Vuitton luggage is great, but every referral tied to the person's account gets a 10% reward. The tickets for solo riders are $183,000. Wow. That's crazy. So I don't know if people know there's a 4-season jet kind of excursion.
Yeah.
That costs around the same price.
Is that expensive?
Yeah.
Per person?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And it's like a private jet. I don't know if it's like 40 people. I don't know how many people it is. But you go on these like crazy trips all over the world. Like you could do Asia, you could do Europe, there's one that goes around the world.
Yeah, I wonder how they're pricing it, because when ETH was at 4,500 and you basically got this for 75% off.
Yeah. But now I think they're pricing it in USD. They're not pricing it in ETH. So this is going to be super interesting to see how this does in this climate. Look, from what I hear, people are still flying private. Like if you're really rich, you're not changing your habit.
Yeah, because really rich to less really rich, you can still afford private.
Yeah.
That's how much wealth was made in the last few years.
And I mean, we saw it. The richest people in the world all dumped stock in November and December of last year.
Yeah.
While everyone else was sitting with it still.
Yeah.
I mean, when you saw Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk selling, it's kind of like, in hindsight, to be like, maybe we should all sell.
But those are like auto sells. I don't really.
Elon's was not an auto sell. Elon's was not auto sell.
Yeah, because he probably doesn't even keep cash.
No, probably just like.
Well, he also knew his stock price was massively overvalued.
Yeah,
Elon's remember he's tweeted at times like the stock price
seems high. All right, good luck, ClipperJet. Check it out, and we will see everyone back here Thursday. Bye bye.
Peace.